Welcome to Picture Healer channel. In this video, I want to answer some of your questions about Feng Shui. These are all common questions I get from email or from the comments. So let's get started. The first common question is how to decide the facing and seating direction of a house. In the Flying Star Feng Shui and the Ba Zai Feng Shui, or the 8 mansions Feng Shui, we do need to find out the house facing direction. For a single house, it's usually very simple. The front side of the house is the front side of your entrance, and it's also the front facing direction. And opposite to the facing direction is the seating direction. So they're always opposite to each other. And you can see this floor plan. The entrance is on the right side, and that's the house facing direction. And opposite to that is the seating direction, or the back of the building. If you have an apartment in a tall rise building, things might get a little complicated. In the Flying Star Feng Shui, most people agree that front side of the building is the front facing direction. For example, in this floor plan, if it's a high-rise apartment building, if the left side is the front of the building, that means that's the facing direction. And the opposite of that is the seating direction, even though the entrance is in the middle on the top of this map. Does that mean the fortune will be the same in every apartment of the same building? Generally, that's true, but if you also look at the floor plan of the whole building, you can see the bigger map. Where is the apartment located based on the whole building? And that can also decide the luck of that apartment building. And also the view from each apartment is different, so that will change the luck too. And the second question is related to the first question. Many people ask if the Flying Star and the Ba Zai Feng Shui use the same compass degree for the Feng Shui chart, or do you use the front door as a reference to decide the left, right, or northeast, southwest? And the answer is very simple. Both Flying Star and the Ba Zai Feng Shui use the actual compass reading. So you can find your directions by using a compass, either a traditional one or digital one or the phone app. And also you can check the map, such as a Google map. The north on the map is the north of the Flying Star chart. And it's the same with the Ba Zai, the 8 mansion Feng Shui chart. There is one school of Feng Shui that uses a different system. That's the BTB, Black Sack Feng Shui. They have a fixed chart. You can see the chart here. It's also divided to 9 boxes, but they align the entrance door with the line below. So the entrance is always in the bottom of this chart. So it can be in the left bottom box, the knowledge, growth, wisdom, or the center, the career, work, or the travel and helpful people on the right side. And the other boxes will fall into place accordingly. So for this style of Feng Shui, you don't really need a compass to read the exact direction and degrees. But for the traditional Feng Shui schools, such as the Flying Star and Ba Zai, they all use the degrees from compass or a Feng Shui compass. The next question is how to overlay a Flying Star chart or a Ba Zai chart when the house has an irregular shape. So let's look at the first example. The house has one missing corner on the top left side, and it's actually an outdoor space. It's only a small part of the building, so I just extend the walls to make the whole space a rectangle, and then find the center of the big rectangle. So if it's missing a small corner or you have an extra projection in a certain corner, we can ignore that and just look at the bigger picture and find the center. Then we can overlay our Flying Star chart or the Ba Zai chart on top of the plan. The second way is to find the average and round it up or round it down. For example, this floor plan, you can say it has missing corner, or you can say it has a projected space, because both are kind of equal size. So you can just find the middle, the average, and draw the line. And now you have a complete rectangle. You can find the center point, and then you can overlay the flying star chart. On the right side, it has some outdoor space. Usually we don't count the outdoor space as part of the plan. Another way is to enlarge the whole flying star chart to cover your whole property, including the backyard, front yard, garage, and everything. Because outdoor is also an extension of the indoor. The north is still north, south is still south. But usually we'll focus on the interior space. But we can certainly extend to exteriors. Here is another example of irregular space. Again, I pick the average shape and round it up to a rectangle or square and find the center. And another common question is about the garage. Usually if it's a detached garage or if it's totally outdoors without roof, we don't have to include it in our Feng Shui chart. But if it's attached to a house, it has roof and walls, I can include it as part of the floor plan. Sometimes a garage is attached with a roof but without the walls. So it's like a semi-open. Then you can do the average, maybe include half of the garage in your map. That's just my personal preference. The next question, some people ask about the best dates to plant trees in the north and south direction. So we'll look at the basic rules to select a lucky day for your activities. Here we are talking about planting trees. First, we know in the traditional Feng Shui calendar, each day there's a list of lucky activities and unlucky activities. Planting is also one of the activities in the list. Or you can look at the starting construction day. It's a similar idea because you have to dig a hole on the ground. The second point is to check the conflicting animal sign of that day. Each day there's a conflicting animal sign and a conflicting direction. So we want to make sure your animal sign or the major person involved in this activity, your animal sign is not conflicted that day. And also the direction of your construction is not conflicted. Or if you are traveling, you can check the conflicting direction of that day and make sure you try to avoid those conflicting animal signs and directions. You can pick a different day that's better for you. Besides the conflicting animal signs and directions, some calendars will show you the lucky directions. Sometimes it's called the happiness god and the wealth god directions. So if the direction of your activity is lucky that day, then it's very auspicious for you to pick that day to start your activity. So those are very basic rules to pick a lucky day for your activities. And here is an example of my Feng Shui calendar. We have the digital version or the paperback version you can buy. I will have the link in the description box below. Or you can find it from our website, picturehealer.com. And you can see it shows the lucky direction, the happiness star direction, wealth star direction of the day, the conflicting animal sign and conflicting direction, and also the lucky activities and the unlucky activities of the day. Next question is about the kitchen. If your kitchen is in the northwest, is it very bad for you, especially for men? And let's look at why people think it's bad to have a kitchen in the northwest. Each direction can be related to a family member according to the Bagua theory. And the northwest is actually related to father or the father figure or authority or the Qian Gua. And the Qian Gua is the 3 unbroken lines, and that represents the most yang energy. And the kitchen is usually related to a female or the mother figure. So in a sense, this mother figure can be in power because this is a very powerful position. And that can also mean the father figure is less powerful. Another explanation is through the 5 element. The Qian Gua, the 3 unbroken lines, belongs to metal element, and the kitchen belongs to the fire element. The fire controls metal, so there's a conflicting relationship. But to me, this is all theory. I don't think kitchen in the northwest will bring bad luck to the male owner. If anything, maybe just bring stronger power for the female owner or whoever is using the kitchen a lot. So here is the solution if you cannot move your kitchen. Because the fire controls metal element, we can add earth element here. So fire produce earth and earth produce metal. So the earth can harmonize fire and metal. So you can add a ceramic pot, a ceramic vase, or anything that's color of yellow or brown to represent the earth. Another way is to add water element because water can control fire. So that includes adding a fish tank or just use the color of black and blue. Maybe put down a blue or black carpet. So that's a very simple solution to balance the energy if you think it bothers you to have a kitchen in the northwest. Next question, can Feng Shui predict future event and predict the timing of the event, such as getting a job or losing a job or getting sick or make money in investment? In Flying Star Feng Shui, you can do a lot of calculation because of the yearly, monthly, and even daily or hourly flying star. They all have different charts. So you can find out the increased tendency of certain events, but it also has limits and it's not 100%. I think it's similar to the Western astrology. You can do a lot of calculation and find out the tendency, but you cannot predict event 100%. There are many stories in the ancient times saying how accurate a Feng Shui master can predict the future, but I think it's very difficult because there are many other factors you have to consider. First, you have to know all the Feng Shui charts and all the star combinations, and there are many different combinations. And you also have to consider each person's birth chart because everyone is different. So a lucky house for one person may not be lucky for the other person. And the next one is the surrounding landscape and the view from the house. What do you see from the window can affect your luck too. And also another factor is your personal choice and willpower. We do have free will and we can make our choice. A lot of times that Feng Shui just reminds you the possibilities and you can pay more attention, be more careful to prevent certain events. So there's a lot of factors that we cannot control. So nothing is 100%. If you really want to predict the future more accurately, you can consider the fortune telling with I Ching and use the 64 hexagrams to find the answer of your questions. So if you can combine Feng Shui and I Ching as fortune telling, you can have better accuracy in predicting future events. It's not easy, but it's not impossible. The last question here, if you have a very bad Feng Shui, everything is in the wrong place. So what can you do? First, nobody has perfect Feng Shui. There is always something, even very minor. Even if you have a perfect feng shui now, as the time goes by, the luck will change too. So don't feel sad if you don't have perfect feng shui. So what can you do if you don't like your current house? First, you look at the positive side of your space and try to enhance the positive side. Maybe you have great lighting, or you have a corner in your space that's very positive and comfortable. You can spend more time in the lucky directions and set up important rooms there. And secondly, you can correct the negative if you can by arranging furnitures or by placing some feng shui cues, such as crystals or bright lighting. After you've done everything, then you should relax and accept your current environment and just move on with life. For the part you cannot change, just let it go and don't overthink about it or feel depressed all the time. That's really not the point of feng shui. And the last choice is to move to a new place. It might sound dramatic, but why not? If you really hate your current space, you can rent another place or just move out away from your current space. And a good feng shui place doesn't have to be a big space or an expensive location. So that's another possibility. So that's the 7 feng shui related questions. If you have different ideas, you are welcome to leave a comment and share your experience. Thank you so much for watching today, and see you next week.